Welcome into another episode of the Laser Bros podcast. With another week, or with the first week in NFL concluded, we are going to look at our individual reactions and takeaways from Week 1. I know this was one of the weirdest Week 1s in recent memories. Unusual outcomes and just kind of production wise wasn't as good as we thought it would be from certain quarterbacks and certain teams. Luke, how are you? And I know since Week 1's now done, we're kind of looking forward to Week 2 now.
Week 1 was really confusing, especially that first noon slate. Like, it took like an hour for anything to be, entertaining. We had all the screens out, and it's still just like, man, could something happen? But it picked up, and it was really weird. Really, really weird.
Yeah, a lot of storylines from Week 1, but I think the main one that we have to talk about is the Aaron Rodgers torn Achilles out for the season, and we're going to talk about how that kind of alters the Jets' plans, and what do you think kind of happens with the Jets going forward?
Well, it sounds like Zach Wilson's just going to stay starter, which I really like Zach Wilson before he got in the NFL, and obviously he hasn't panned out much, but it looks like he'll stay, and I'm kind of intrigued how it'll all go because that defense, Josh Allen makes mistakes sometimes, but it was looking for real.
Yeah, and I think as a Jets fan, that's probably the most frustrating part is that after Rodgers' injury, I feel like part of them was like, let's just hope our team struggles a bit just so we don't get that false hope of what could have been. But the defense played so well. Garrett Wilson showed that he's going to be a superstar receiver. Didn't get a lot of catches, but when he gets the opportunity to make a play, he'll make a play. So it's kind of frustrating to see, I think, from a Jets perspective of how good that defense was and kind of how much potential that team could have had if Rodgers was still playing quarterback.
No, yeah, it's just like they're not winning the Super Bowl. They're not gonna win.
I'm not even sure if they'll be a playoff team now.
Yeah, they'll have to fight for it. It depends on Zach.
Yeah,
unless he plays terrible, which I don't think he will, he's gonna remain the starter. But he's probably not winning a Super Bowl unless something nuts happens. So it's just sad to see. You never want to see Aaron Rodgers. All new storyline, really cool. Just New York Jets. I didn't see it. I was in a meeting, so I didn't see it right away. Then I saw I got back like late first quarter. But it comes out with the American flag. It's super hype. Just poor Jets fans. Sucks for Aaron Rodgers. You just never want to see that.
Yeah, I think like the more upsetting part is that we may never know what this team looks like with Rodgers. He'll be 40 in December, and he'll be 41 next year in December. So. His career may be done. Achilles is kind of rehab. I believe it's like 8 or 9 to 15 months of rehab or something like that. It's something along those lines of it stretches out for a long period of time. So this may have been the last that we saw of Aaron Rodgers, and we may never know what this team looks like with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, it's a shame. It'd be really cool. Obviously, I don't know everything with Achilles injuries, and he's quarterback, but could you just imagine Zach Wilson comes in, he gets them to 10-7 or 9-8? He gets him in the playoffs, and then Aaron Rodgers. I know, but he gets him into the playoffs, and then Aaron Rodgers comes in hobbled, but somewhat healed. That'd just be fun. That'd be cool. Probably not gonna happen. That'd be fun.
That probably won't happen. But what I was going to say was this injury actually may give the Jets an opportunity to see what Zach Wilson is, and actually give him like a 1-year jump of starting their quarterback room over again. If Zach Wilson struggles again, you now know that you have to address the quarterback position in this upcoming draft. Instead of waiting for 2 more years.
I feel like they're gonna, if he struggles, they're probably just be like, yeah, that's what we expected. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't think it really impacts their quarterback future much. They're basically still in the same thing where you don't know, but I don't think it impacts it because it is a stacked quarterback class. So if you love someone and Zach Wilson doesn't have a good year, then yeah, you go get someone. But if they love someone anyways, I bet they would have just taken them.
Well, as I said at the beginning of the show, we will be doing, each of us have 3 individual takeaways that we thought stood out from Week 1, and then we'll do our Week 2 predictions. Luke, you can start us off with your first Week 1 reaction.
Starting off Week 1, first reaction, NFC North is a 2-team race. Just looking at it, the Lions start off, obviously the Chiefs didn't have Jones and Kelsey, who are probably both playing this week. So completely different game if those two play. You never know, but I expect the Chiefs would have won. The The Lions were honestly a little underwhelming, not going to lie. I thought they were going to be a little better. But still, they're good. They played well. They won the game. And so they're a legit team. And then you see Green Bay, Chicago, and it's just – well, actually, it was Vikings-Tampa first, where you saw Kirk Cousins against Baker. And it's not that Baker outplayed him, but the Vikings lost. I mean, their offensive line was getting shredded. I mean, they are still just bad. I think Bradbury's out against the Eagles this Thursday tomorrow, and Durasaw is questionable. It's like, they're going to get massacred by that Eagles front. But they just don't look the part. They won all those close games last year, where it was like near record-breaking. They were clearly kind of frauds last year. They're not even going to be frauds this year. They're just not going to be good. So I think that's there. And then Chicago and Green Bay. Green Bay came out. Jordan Love looked pretty dang good. I thought he did well. I was impressed by him. The Packers' front lines, defensive and offensive, were just clearly better. And Justin Fields doesn't look – he's at least not there yet. So I think it's clearly Lions, Packers. The other two teams are just – they're off to the side.
Yeah, I was a bit disappointed with the Bears. I thought, with the additions of DJ Moore, you improve the offensive line and
barely got the
team. The team puts their whole belief in Justin Fields, and then they give. I think DJ Moore had 2 catches in the game, not really implementing him into the offense at all. The Bears, I didn't think they were going to challenge for the division to begin with, but I thought we would see an improved Justin Fields, an improved team, an improved scheme, and we didn't really see that. And then from a Vikings perspective, I just think, and one of my takeaways will involve them. When you lose to the Buccaneers at home, week 1, it's just going to set up for disaster, I think. And I don't know. This is why they didn't give Kirk Cousins an extension. I mean, this is kind of what we saw. We saw him throw a red zone interception. He fumbled in his own territory. Kirk Cousins can only take you so far. And I absolutely agree with you. I was actually impressed with Jordan Love. Nothing too flashy, but he's just efficient. Gets the ball out quick, runs the offense. I think when you have that good of offensive line, because in the game he had so much time just to orchestrate the offense and just go through his reads. I think the Packers, they could push for the division. I still like the Lions a lot, and I agree with you that they weren't that great on Thursday. I think their ceiling is much higher than that. And you kind of saw why Jameson Williams, the suspension is a bigger deal than I think people make it out to be. They kind of need that field stretcher. They have a lot of guys who are possession receivers, a lot of guys who can succeed in the middle of the field, but they need that guy that can take the top off the defense. But, I absolutely agree that the Lions and Packers are probably the 2 best teams in the division.
No, yeah, it's just – I mean, if there's a chance with this, as I mentioned, quarterback class, that – I mean, Vikings – I know you're blaming Kirk Cousins, but I can't blame –
No, I also think the offensive line was terrible. They didn't really have a run game. Madison averaged I think less than 3 yards per carry.
Yeah, but if you take Kirk Cousins out of if you take every team's quarterback off and you look at roster, the Vikings are terrible. They're terrible.
I think roster-wise, defensive-wise, I think they're awful. And then outside Justin Jefferson and I think Jordan Addison, who will probably emerge later in the year, I'm not a big fan of pieces of their offense.
No, yeah, I'm not either, and I don't. I mean, they could be drafting a quarterback. If Justin Fields doesn't work out, and let's say they're at pick, I mean, they have 2 picks. But let's say they're pick 8, and they Shedeur Sanders. Shoot, give me Shedeur. But yeah, it's a 2-man race. The Packers still have a lot of talent. They still have a lot of talent. I think they're going to be fighting, and it'll be interesting. They didn't even have Christian Watson. Aaron Jones looked good. A.J. Dillon still.
We'll see though, because Christian Watson didn't practice today, and Aaron Jones is also dealing with the hamstring injury. So we'll see what their status is for week 2.
That's a Falcons-Packers is an interesting game, but it's they look good, and I mean the best quarterback in the division is Love, or I guess it's still I don't know,
Goff,
or maybe Kirk. But they're all 3. It's it's probably still Kirk, then Goff, then Love. But man, it's just it could be a year from now. And let's say Lions disappoint a little. It's Love is the last one standing. Probably not.
Oh, yeah.
Goff still probably is a year. Yeah.
So I will now talk about my first takeaway. It's pretty straightforward. Falcons and Saints both unimpressive in week 1. Both NFC South teams both won their games. But when you look at the games, there's nothing really inspiring about the teams.
Not at all.
They got the win, but when you start the Falcons, they are wasting Kyle Pitts and Drake London's talent. I mean, it's just like I don't understand. I think Drake London had 0 catches and 1 target, and then I think Kyle Pitts had 1 catch.
I'm off Arthur Smith now. I'm off.
I was never a big fan of Arthur Smith. I thought, I think he was a guy that we're just going to run the ball. But when you have those weapons, you should be utilizing them. And I think running the ball in the NFL nowadays is only going to take you so far. And I think they probably have the best rushing attack in the league. But we got to see what Ritter is. I mean, Ritter had, I think, barely over 100 yards in this game, and they just don't throw the ball. I don't know if it's a lack of trust with Ritter or if that's just their offensive scheme that they want to roll with and that they think will give them more success.
Nothing frustrates me more than when you watch these teams. If you're going to put the quarterback in and it's like, okay, this is their 1 year, you have to let them rip it. Fields didn't get to rip it, or Ritter didn't, Wilson didn't, but that's different. He came in mid-game, wasn't expecting that. But, yeah, it's enrages me.
Yeah, and I think with the Falcons, they won 24-10, but I think that game was much closer than the score.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
I think it could have been easily a touchdown game, 4-point game. Atlanta's defense at the end kind of carried the Falcons to that win. And it was Bryce Young's first start. Yeah, it was Bryce Young's first start with not really good offensive line and barely any weapons around him. So I wasn't really impressed with them. And then the Saints, I picked the Falcons before the year to win the division, but I thought the Saints would be second, and I still think that's the case. But the Saints to win only by 1 point, and for Tannehill to throw 3 interceptions, and Derrick Henry was all right. I'm not saying he's washed or anything, but their offense just wasn't that great at all. And the fact that he only won by 1 point and had to win at the end of the game with a drive, the Saints and Derek Carr, I don't know. I only think there's going to be one team from this division. There's no way the team is a wild card team.
Tampa, I mean, they look not bad. They have a shot. I wouldn't rule out Baker. He didn't do anything stupid. He sort of just did his job. Tajay Spears actually got more snaps than Henry, which was
I think it's 34-30 snap count.
But I mean, as someone who was high on the Falcons, I mean, like, man, they were just so frustrating because their first touchdown was off a pick where it was just like one play, the screen to Bijan. Algier played well, but you need to get Bijan the ball, man.
I mean, you used the 8th overall pick on Bijan. You need to get more balls.
Get more than 10 carries. I know he had like 6 catches or whatever.
All of their weapons, London, Pitts, and Bijan were all top 10 picks.
Yeah.
And Pitts was the top 4 pick, I believe. They need to get those players more.
And Algier had the most touches. I like Algier. He's good, but no. And you got to get Pitts the ball. Just like, you ever hear of a wide receiver screen or a tight end screen or, like a little out route? Arthur Smith.
There's not much creativity in the offense.
And then the Saints have like these nice weapons and Carr, but something's not. It just didn't look right. I mean, the offensive line was getting sort of brutalized. It's Titans D-line. They have Jeffrey Simmons, but then no one else really fantastic. I think it was Arden Key, I think. But he looked good. But, yeah, neither were impressive. I think you could see that Carolina has, like, no shot. I saw J.C. Horn is out for an indefinite amount of time, I think. Mm-hmm. But yeah, and then Tampa could creep in, but both very unimpressive. Each have winnable games, though, week 2. Mm-hmm. Falcons, Packers, Saints, Panthers, each winnable.
Mm-hmm. So we will move on to your next takeaway. What was your second takeaway that you had?
With the AFC East, I mean, we talked about it a little bit with Rodgers, but the Dolphins and Patriots could be the top 2 teams in that division. I mean, you look at it, obviously the Jets, you don't really need to explain it, even though they could still – all 4 teams are in there. But it's no longer where it's like, oh, it's definitely the Jets and Bills, and it's these tier, and then maybe one of them could sneak into the first tier at the second spot. I mean, now it's like all 4 are mixed. I mean, the Dolphins, obviously, they went to a shootout with the Chargers. The defense is kind of underwhelming. You probably can't depend on Tyreek to have historic games every week, but Waddle didn't do much, so then Waddle could step in. So the Dolphins look great. Tua, I was talking about how he didn't look too good and how I don't trust him. And it was like the next play, he had that one where he's moving up in the pocket to Hill, and there's this play and that play and that play. I was like, oh, damn. And then the Patriots, I mean, you lose by 5 points to the Eagles. Keyshawn Boutte keeps the foot in. and maybe they win the game. I mean, they're right there. Mac Jones, impressive performance. The defense, they had just a terrible start. They're down 16-0, and they lost 25-20. Battled back. Great defensive performance, even though you may not think it. I mean, you basically hold the Eagles to 9 points for 3 quarters. Multiple takeaways, or may have been multiple. Just at least that big fumble at the end. But both teams are looking impressive, and don't count out the Patriots, man. They play each other week 2, and I know Bill is winless against Tua, but that defense is good, and Mac looked pretty good. They didn't even have Devontae Parker. Douglas, pretty solid. Keyshawn Boutte didn't have any yards, but, I mean, he could end up being – it's born – I mean, it's possible. It's possible. These two teams, it could be Dolphins 1, Patriots 2, Bills 3. Because, like, the Bills with the Bills quickly, it's just like, that was terrible. I mean, I think Josh Allen's going to figure it out, but you can't keep doing that. That's unacceptable. Players played bad. That was a little different.
I'm totally on this one from a Dolphins perspective. We were talking a little bit before. I was going to talk about if Tua stays healthy, the Dolphins have a real shot at winning this division. And I think if he does stay healthy, I think they actually do end up winning this division. I think just like
they're favored now in Vegas, I think. Slightly.
You have good vibes around the team. They know what they want to do with the football. And in Buffalo, it's like I feel like Josh Allen feels that he is inclined to get the ball to Stephon Diggs. If he doesn't get the ball to Diggs is going to become frustrated. And you saw that on the first pick where he tried to throw it deep to or I think it's second pick. He tried to throw it deep to Diggs, and Diggs actually had to try to defend the ball. And it was forcing double coverage as well. I just feel like the whole vibes around the Buffalo Bills is something where I think they finished second in the division just based off talent. I'm not with you on this one from a Patriots perspective, just because I don't think they have the talent that the other two teams, or I mean, you can say the other 3 teams in the division have, but I definitely am with you from with the Dolphins. I think Dolphins, they just need to get that defense going, and I don't know if they really have that pass rush. They have Bradley Chubb. I don't think he's that type of player. I know he's a pass rusher. I don't know if he's that caliber of player that can, wreck a game and take a game over from a defensive point of view. And we'll have to see when Jalen Ramsey comes back. But I think if Tua stays healthy, the Dolphins by far have the best offense, and with Mike McDaniel, great offensive scheme as well.
Okay, let me ask you that. Let me ask you this on the Patriots. Okay, so what you take the Patriots defense right over the Bills? Patriots versus Bills. I mean, Patriots, I think, are the better defense.
I think Bills' defense is overrated, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, so you take Patriots.
Yeah.
Receiving weapons, they have Diggs. That's like outside of Diggs. It's like it would be close if you take out Diggs. It'd probably still be, but they have Diggs, so weapons are Diggs. Head coach, I'm still going Bill, right?
Oh yeah, Sean McDermott, I'm done with. I was done with him after last year, to be honest with you. So,
do you trust Ken Dorsey or do you trust Bill O'Brien more?
I'd probably say Bill O'Brien, just because he has that familiarity with Mac Jones.
So if Josh Allen does not pick it up, I don't see how the Patriots don't pass the Bills. Unless Josh Allen plays like MVP Josh Allen. But let's say he plays 40% of his games where he's not looking fantastic. I mean, all he has is Diggs.
I still take Josh Allen way over Mac.
No, that's obvious. That's because we know that. My bad. But still, if Mac Jones doesn't need to play as good as Josh Allen. And Mac Jones didn't look bad. I mean, he just needs to play close. I mean,
we'll have to see, because I don't trust the Patriots receivers throughout the entire year, and I don't trust Mac Jones. I know Josh Allen's being erratic since last season, at the latter half of last season, but I just don't trust Mac Jones' ability to take this team to. I don't think there's a way that Bills finished third in this division.
But how can you? If Mac Jones doesn't need to score 30 points a game. I mean, they ran the ball terrible.
Josh Allen's not going to play like this every game of the year. There's going to be games where he just takes his team to a win.
They have like a little dysfunction. I know, but they have like a little dysfunction, it seems like. The Diggs and McDermott's. Something's not right with the Bills. And if Josh Allen, if he repeats how he played last year, I guess more the second, because he started off really well.
Well, yeah, because last year they finished with 13 wins last year.
Yeah, I mean, he started off okay, but if he plays more like he did post, it was like the Chiefs win on. He was like not the same, but they still were getting wins.
Like,
I don't know.
I'm pretty low on the Bills right now, but we have to remember that the Jets have given Josh Allen problems the last 2 years playing against them.
Yeah, but you can argue the Patriots have a better defense than the Bills. You can argue it.
This league comes down to quarterback play, and I'm going to take Josh Allen over Mac Jones any day of the week.
I know it does, but if it's erratic quarterback play, I don't. I think it's fully an option. I think it's also really interesting. I'm checking right now because Von Miller is.
He's out for first 4 weeks, right?
Yeah, they are lucky. Bills are lucky. They face Vegas and Washington next. They are very, very lucky.
I think they win both those games. I mean, you have the Patriots who face the Dolphins. I will be with you on this argument a little bit more. It'll move up from 15% to maybe 20%. I'm with you.
Patriots schedule.
If the Patriots if they beat the Dolphins, then maybe I'm with you a little bit. But they play Dolphins, and then who do they play after that?
Jets, Dallas. I mean, yeah, it's tough. Jets, Dallas, but then they get a little break with New Orleans and Vegas, and then Week 7 it's Buffalo and then Miami. But then Washington.
That's what
Patriots have a tough. It's tough.
I just think, yeah.
I mean, but Jets isn't as tough as. Well, actually, if they beat Dolphins. They then have a chance to go 2-1 and beat the Jets.
Yeah. I think this Miami game is pivotal in this argument.
It is huge. You're right. It is huge, but I have faith in Bill Belichick.
So after that long discussion on that topic, that was a topic that was much longer than I thought it would be. I will go with my second one. I think the Vikings are in trouble, and I think it's not even that because they lost Week 1, but it's also because of the next 2 games. They face the Eagles. And they face the Chargers the next 2 games. I think they'll be 0-3.
I agree. Agree.
And their offensive line is going to be. I mean, we saw New England be limited to 3.2 yards per carry against the Eagles on Sunday. I don't think Alexander Madison's going to be able to do anything, and that Vikings offense is not going to be able to do anything either. And the Eagles, they have to be disappointed with how they played on Sunday. I think you'll see an elevated level from them on Thursday night. And I think they'll lose that game for sure tomorrow. And I think Chargers are also in a spot where they lost their first game, and they need to kind of step their game up as well. And I think Vikings are not going to be able to contain Justin Herbert in that offense.
No, yeah, I think they may be screwed. Okay, here's where they may not be screwed. Let's say you're 0-3. I was having a discussion about this with someone else. You're 0-3. Zach Wilson doesn't look so good. You face the Panthers. Panthers are not good. But the Panthers, that's like – Brian Burns.
They face the Chiefs after that.
I know, but if you're 0-4 and you're facing the Chiefs, then you're just done. But if you win and then maybe you have some momentum and then you lose and maybe ups, who knows? But if you're 0-4 facing the Chiefs, you're done. And the Panthers, their D line was pretty impressive against a good Atlanta O line. Derek Brown, Brian Burns, Vikings O line is. I mean, that's you can get battered and Kirk Cousins to Jets. Just like week 4 or 5, if Zach's not working and Vikings are just done, that'd be interesting.
What will the Vikings get though?
I don't even know. I mean, you're not getting a first.
Well, no, of course not. I think you get a third or second.
Fourth.
You might get a second.
I don't know if you'd even get a.
I don't know a second though, because I guess he's expiring.
The Jets would need to clear some cap.
Yeah.
So obviously they'd have to maneuver it, but that would just be interesting because Kirk Cousins with the Jets, that could be that's like a sleeper Super Bowl team. Probably not a favorite. Is there any
way that Kirk Cousins possibly gets traded back to Washington if Sam Howell's
No. You think? I mean, I guess their new owners are not going to say Sam Howell didn't work. We're going to bring in Kirk Cousins to win 9 games.
Or Atlanta could make a lot of sense, I think, too. Because if Ritter struggles or they're not even using.
If they're not using Ritter, I mean, Kirk would be good. Kirk with London and Pitts. That'd be nice. I think that'd make them easy division winners. But I still want to see Ritter. I want to see him, but it's not good that we didn't.
I think the Vikings are. I don't think they're making the playoffs this year. And
no.
I just don't think that they have the firepower to. Other than Justin Jefferson and Addison, I'm not huge fans of their offensive personnel.
They have legit top 10 picks. But the thing is, what we were saying about Kirk, if you trade Kirk, is Justin Jefferson not signing the extension. I think is a little bigger than people If they just
it's starting to sound like when they had Stephon Diggs and Diggs did that extension.
I think that's a little different because they were winning. I think Diggs.
I know, but Jefferson, if they start losing, Jefferson's why am I here? And especially if they go into the tank this year and just say we're going to tank this year and retool, rebuild, whatever you want to say.
Unless he loves a rookie. I mean, you're probably not. They're not bad enough to get Caleb. Probably not.
So,
Yeah, you have a
so
little too
I
much
don't know.
talent.
So we will go to your third and final takeaway. What was your third takeaway?
So going into the season, off season, with everything going on with the Niners, I think a lot of people were like, "Oh, could Seahawks win the division?" Which they cannot. I mean, they got the Rams destroyed them, but the Niners are just they're the Niners. They're their usual selves. They're going to be really good still. I mean, people are saying. I know you were saying that it could be a really tough game for them. I forgot who you picked, but I think you picked Niners.
I had Pittsburgh, and I made a lot of bets at Pittsburgh.
I mean, yeah, they just killed them. I mean, it was brutal. I mean, Ayuk, he's looking good. He is.
He'll be their best receiver by the end.
Oh yeah, he's probably still an underrated. Everyone knows he's good, but it could be one of those where it's like Damian Lillard.
I think everyone. He may be a contract year, or maybe he has one more year.
He has one more. He has one more because it's. Wait, what year's Jordan Levin? I mean, lost.
Well, is he? He was the same draft as Justin Jefferson or Judy, so I think he's one more year.
Yeah, it's one more year. I think 5th year option. They accepted it, but he's probably one of those like Lillard when Lillard was really good. And everyone was calling him underrated, and it's like because he still was, but then he eventually came overrated. But I think we're like right at the start of that where it's like he's about to get really good. But McCaffrey, Debo, Kittle. I mean, the defense killed Pickett, who was killing the preseason. Mm-hmm. So I think Niners are going to be legit. And I didn't watch much of the Eagles-Patriots game. I was keep track of it. That's why I thought it was impressive by the Patriots. But if it was a little more that Eagles weren't working, I mean, Niners could be better than the Eagles. I mean, Purdy now is a full year. It'll be interesting to look at. And I think Niners will be right up there easily.
In a few weeks, I may be flipping my Super Bowl pick to the 49ers. The Eagles, I think the loss of Shane Steichen, you kind of see in their offense. I mean, Hurts has the same weapons, same coaching staff, other than Steichen, same personnel, and he did not look that great. 49ers, I was kind of shocked of how on the same page they were. Because I know, like Brock Purdy, I think for sure Brock Purdy was their guy in the offseason, and they're going to trade Trey Lance regardless.
Yeah.
But I thought just the noise around the whole quarterback situation, the noise around Nick Bosa, I thought that'd become a distraction for the 49ers in week 1. But they hit on all cylinders, and I mean, they blew Pittsburgh out of the building. I don't think Pittsburgh had a first down until the 2-minute warning of the first half.
I think it's their 6th drive. Did you see the Trent Williams thing?
Yeah,
where he wanted Pittsburgh to get first down so he could get a rest.
Yeah, I mean, so it's just their defensive line is so. Drake Jackson, I believe, had 3 sacks.
He did? I didn't even know that.
Or I think it was Drake Jackson. I believe he had 3 sacks, 2 sacks. He played really well. Hargrave was really good. I may be wrong on that, but I thought I saw somewhere where he had 3 sacks. And I was kind of watching that game and another game. So I think just having Nick Bosa and Hargrave kind of opens up everything else. And they're so stacked on the front 7 that, like, I'm not a huge fan of their secondary, but their front 7 is so good that Drake gets the quarterback.
Could you imagine Drake Jackson is just –
well, I don't think he's that great. I think they just have so many players that can –
Well, what if he just does pop?
I mean, yeah, he definitely can. He definitely can.
Yeah, Hargrave had a sack. I mean, did Bosa didn't even have a sack?
Mm-mm.
So yeah, I bet those sacks. You'd have to look at it. I bet they were very helped.
Yeah, they're probably created by pressure somewhere else. And exploited the line.
Karen Hyder had 8 a couple years ago. I mean, yeah, they're nuts. Fred Warner and Greenlaw are probably one of the better linebacker duos. Got one of the better safeties and.
Halafunga.
Yeah, Halafunga. How can I not remember how to pronounce that? I look at it like I'm looking at it right here, but yeah, they're gonna be nuts.
I think they win the division pretty easily.
One small
Geno
thing
Smith seems to be a flash in the bottle.
I said it. Nothing against Geno Smith. I said it, but one concern was I know it's TJ Watt. He did have 3 sacks.
That's the thing. That's the one thing that worries me about.
Yeah,
because the thing is they've always had quarterback health issues and they don't prioritize the offensive line. They had back-to-back third-round picks.
I was going to check if he's the only one with sacks.
It
was just TJ Watt.
They had back-to-back picks in the 3rd round and didn't draft one offensive lineman. And they wonder why their quarterbacks get hurt all the time. That's the one main concern I have with the 49ers is that their offensive line outside Trent Williams is awful.
Yeah, you can't be having T.J. Watt get 3 sacks. It's like when I was watching the game, it's just like, dang, T.J. Watt is just still.
Exactly.
He may sack record that thing. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he's nuts.
So I will now talk about my final takeaway, and it's Anthony Richardson looks much more polished and much more ready at the NFL level than expected. At the college level, he played, I believe, 13 games at the college level, or it may have been 17 or something like that. I think it's 13 or 17. I have those numbers mixed up. But a lot of people thought he'd be super raw, which he is still raw coming into the NFL. But you can see that he could diagnose the defense, make reads, throw the ball where the defenders evacuate from. So I was very impressed with the Colts and Anthony Richardson. I was telling you that game would be closer than most people thought, and I know Jacksonville ended up covering the -5, but it was a 3-point game with the Colts having the ball in the mid-4th quarter before Richardson threw that costly pick. But
you could sort of tell with that pick. That's like where he's still not fully polished.
Mm-hmm. But there was one play that I've seen on Twitter and on social media. There was a play where the free safety was coming up on a blitz before the snap, and Richardson was able to see that and throw to Josh Downs with anticipation on a slant route in the area that the safety left for a 15 to 20-yard gain. So it's just small stuff like that where you can kind of see Richardson has been the playbook. He's been studying, and I was very impressed with Richardson.
No, yeah, he looked really good. That pick was a mistake. It's one of those where it's like you can start just like when he's throwing over there. When I saw like the throw, it was the left side. It was like 20 yards near the sideline. I'm like, that's gonna get picked, isn't it? And then boom, pick. But so there's still, and he also needs to slide a little more. Even though in the end, I don't think he needs to be. He's not gonna be sliding every time. I'm sorry, he's way too big. He's gonna take some hits. I think you sort of.
But you still like Josh Allen. He's going to have a shorter career because he does not slide.
But in the end, if Josh Allen plays back to how he should, you're limiting a player's ceiling. If Cam Newton never took hits. Guess what? You probably don't go to a Super Bowl because that's part of who he is. He needs to hit people because he's also huge. You have to let him hit people, but you just have to do it in moderation a little more. So he'll have to figure that out. But I still think it's fine. If you're trying to win, obviously the player's health comes first. But if you want to win,
let's just keep him on the field and make sure he keeps developing. We don't want
to
take him off the field and he gets behind his development. And Cam Newton, he was done. He peaked at what, 27, 28?
Yeah, but Cam Newton wasn't going to do much. I think he peaked before that, but he wasn't going to do a ton anyways. I mean, Cam Newton would never be what if you took away Cam Newton's hit. I mean, with the Patriots, he could still hit people.
Had one good year.
Cam Newton had more than one good year. Stop.
Or he had multiple good years, but the 1 year where they went to Super Bowl and won MVP, that was the 1 year where you can take away from the rest of his career years, where it was like, I mean, other than that, what did he do?
I think
what was his playoff success outside that year?
I mean, he didn't have much playoff success. I still think he was a good quarterback when they had some losses. I remember. Cowboys or Seattle they lost to, and I thought he played really well, and people were sort of giving him crap, but I thought he played well. I mean, it's not like he ever had some great weapons. He's thrown to Kelvin Benjamin, so I think he had Steve Smith early, but then he left. And
I never want to overreact to a performance or outcome of a game, but even though the Colts lost, I think now after watching that, and Richardson is only going to get better and better, I think they have a legit shot at finishing second in that division.
Hold your brakes there. I mean, legitimate. I mean, I guess they have a shot.
Ryan Tannehill looks terrible.
Okay, but Ryan Tannehill's terrible. Okay, yes, but I think the Titans are better. I think the Jags maybe came in a little. I mean, I don't know how good that offensive line is. Norwell got hurt for a little bit. I mean, the running game, legitimate. I don't. They should be third.
It's so weak.
I said they were fourth. They should be third. I still think Titans are better. I'm going to take the vets. I'm going to take the team with all the vets. When you give me Hopkins and Henry and even Tannehill and they have vets, I'm going to take the team with vets. But no, back to Richardson. Yes, he looked very polished. With him on our dynasty team, I was very pleased with how he looked. It's like, yes, okay. He's not going to be He's not going to be a bum. He's not going to be a bust. He will at least be good. And it was nice to see that from him. I think besides like just a historic performance, that was one of the better outcomes for the Colts.
Oh, yeah, especially for week 1, yeah. So now, after those, we will now go into week 2, and we'll each give our picks for each game in week 2. And we'll start with tomorrow night's game, Vikings at Eagles. The Eagles are 6.5-point favorites with over/under 49.
I think we discussed this mostly. I mean, Eagles, I think they should win.
They need a bounce back game, kind of game.
And I think they will. I think, quick and easy.
I think it'll be a dominant game. I don't know what Vikings offense will do in that game. I mean, scored 17 against Tampa Bay, so
I don't think they'll do much.
Next game, and this is one of the most interesting and one of the most puzzling games to like pick and kind of predict what will happen. The Packers at the Falcons. Packers are minus 1.5 favorites with the over/under of 40.5. So that kind of shows you what Vegas thinks of this game. Probably a low-scoring game. Probably a game where the Falcons try to run the ball like they did week 1 and eat most of the clock.
I think it will be – it's a tough one, but I think Packers, but it's like there's no matter what, I was going to say Packers. They look too good. Falcons look too bad. But it's scary because of that running game, and I can just see something stupid happening where, like, you just look at the games, like how the Packers not win as they lose by 3 and let something stupid happen. But I'm going to take Packers.
I think this game is going to come down to Packers' run defense. And if Falcons are able to chew the clock and have elongated drives, let's see what Jordan Love can do with limited amount of opportunities and drives. So because the Bears gave the Packers so many additional drives with turnovers and short drives where it was like they had the ball for like a minute. I don't think Atlanta's going to have the ball for a minute a lot. Even if they do go 3 and out, they're running the ball so much. I think the Falcons win this game just because of I think running the ball will take the ball out of Jordan Love's hands, and we'll see what he can do with limited opportunities. And I really like the Falcons' defense. I thought Jesse Bates was a game changer signing. And it's at home too. We'll see how Jordan Love performs on the road. And I know he performed well on the road last week, but I think Falcons are a much better team than the Bears. I think it's gonna be a close game though. It may be like a 1-point game or something. But I just want to touch it from a betting perspective. Next game, Raiders at Bills. The Bills are minus 9.5.
Okay, I'm taking Bills, but I think Raiders cover. I think Jimmy Garoppolo looked. I know he had the bad play. But he looked good enough. I was watching it, just like, okay, those are throws that I don't think we always saw him try more towards the sideline. It's nice trusting in Adams. I think Bills may come out early, and then Raiders slowly crawl back into it. But I'm going to take Bills win. I think 9.5 is a lot of points. I don't see them covering.
Yeah, this is a game where I wouldn't bet the line or the spread, but I think Bills win this. I think they win by 6 or 7 points. I think the spread will come down if Jimmy Garoppolo can take care of the ball. But I think the Bills coming off a disappointing loss in week 1, they're going to want to get a win really bad here. And Raiders are coming off an impressive win on the road. So I think things kind of balance out, and I'll take the Bills in this one. So next game, and this is one of my favorite bets of the week, Baltimore at the Bengals. Bengals are minus 3.5.
Yeah, Ravens are so hurt. I mean, I picked Ravens win the division, but I mean, they lost. They are getting Andrews back, which you may be able to argue. I mean, yeah, number 1 receiving option is more important than running back, but Gus Edwards and Justice Hill, I'm going. But
it's the same thing every year where they have a running back start or second, third running back having to contribute. It's the same thing every year.
And you draft another one. I mean, I think you need to get solidified because if you have Lamar, I feel like go get yourself a good running back even as you're trying to pass more. Go get yourself a good running back. I mean, the running backs aren't great in the rookie class, but that's another discussion. Oh, yeah. But I'm going to take Bengals. I'll bet they cover. I bet it'll be a weird game where whatever the score is, it doesn't really tell the story if it's close, if it's not close. But I'll take Bengals. Bounce back for sure.
Yeah, that's the main reason. If Bengals won week 1, I still think they win, but I think it'd be closer. But I think they want to win this game really bad. Divisional game. They've already lost a divisional game. And they're at home, and Joe Burrow in this offense is not going to be limited to 3 points again. So I think Bengals have an opportunity to actually dominate this game and win by at least 10 points. But we'll see. It could be closer, I think, but I think Bengals win this. Next game, you can probably say a must win for one of these teams. Seattle at Detroit. Detroit's minus 5.5.
Okay, so I was thinking about this game. I was like, this is a game where I'm like, oh, it's obviously Seattle or obviously Lions, and then Seattle wins. I'm going Lions. They're better. I'm going Lions. I like Goff more. It's in Detroit, right?
It is, yes.
And Seattle's a team that kept Detroit out of the playoffs last year by making it themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll be a cool environment, and going 2-0 for Detroit. I mean, they can't settle. They're the Detroit Lions, for goodness sakes. They're not settling. So I think it'll be a nail biter. I think Seattle has a bounce back, like performance wise, but I mean their tackles are hurt. They signed Jason Peters, man. It's like, yeah. So I'm taking Lions. I'm taking Aiden Hutchinson should have a day.
I think Seattle's in trouble. Same boat as Vikings. I think they play Panthers week 1 and then Giants week 4, so that'll be kind of interesting before their bye. I think Lions, though, I think personnel-wise, they're better everywhere. Maybe receiver-wise, I think Seattle's stacked, but I don't – both their tackles being hurt, and you kind of saw how good Detroit's pass rush was last week against the Chiefs offensive line. That's pretty good. So I think Aiden Hutchinson's going to play really well, and I think Lions cover this spread. I don't agree with you. That's gonna be a nail biter. I think they take care of this pretty comfortably.
I think I like Seattle just having a good performance, maybe trying to take the top off.
Next game, both teams 0-1. Chargers at Titans.
Oh yeah.
And Chargers minus 3.
I'm gonna take the Chargers. They need to figure out how to stop losing these games. I mean, I love Herbert, but he doesn't win these.
Well, here's the thing. I think Brand Staley is a defensive coach, and his defense is terrible.
I know, but in the end,
they spend so much money on the defense.
I'm
not saying I disagree with your statement. I'm just saying when you have a defensive coach and your defense is the worst part of your team.
No, yeah, I get that.
It's a major red flag.
Especially because you have two supposedly great pass rushers. Max probably not one anymore.
Max not like that anymore. No.
Joey Bosa seems to never get those big sacks.
He's never healthy either.
But still, Herbert needs to win some of these games. I think they're going to win this one, but he needs to win those close games. He needs to start doing it because I love Herbert, but, man, he needs to start doing it. But I got Chargers. They should cover.
Yeah, I think Chargers win this one pretty comfortably. I don't think Titans have the firepower to keep up with Chargers. And if Tannehill threw 3 picks against Saints, this Chargers defense does. I know the defense was not great last week, but they do have playmakers all over the field.
Quick side note, J.C. Jackson, what the hell? He made just 2 stupid plays. So he got that, remember at the end of the half, he got the pass interference that was not needed. And then when he got the pick, he took it out of the end zone and took it to the 5. It's like J.C. Jackson, what are you doing?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just stupid. It's just stupid stuff like that where the coach it comes down to coaching. You know they have 17 seconds left, and you know they're trying to get a field goal, and then they're playing man to man on Tyreek the entire game. That's the one player you probably shouldn't be playing man to man on.
I don't know. Sometimes they were playing zone because Tyreek was getting those middle hits. So
it's just Brent Staley, I think, is such a bad coach. And I think he may be fired mid-season if they're underwhelming.
They'd have to be pretty bad for that, but. Yeah. I don't think he returns next year.
Yeah, no. Oh, no way. Next game, Bears at Buccaneers. Buccaneers favored by 2.5. This is a game where I really don't know what direction I'm going to go.
I'm looking at just looking at it right now on my phone, man. I mean, Tampa has athletic linebackers. They have good linebackers for Justin Fields. I don't think I can't believe Tampa's going to be – I think they're going to be 2-0. I think this will be a very close one, and it's going to be end of the game and just you're just that was 4 terrible plays. Each team just – so I'm taking Tampa, though. They have more vets. I trust Baker more than Justin Fields to win a game in the fourth quarter.
I think if you're betting, I think if you just want to put a good value, I think the Bears are a great value or a good value to do betting. I do think Bears win this game. I don't see Bucks going 2-0. And that's not to say that Bears are going to be really good or impressive. I think that somehow they'll win this game, and it may just be another choppy, sloppy game. But I think the Bears find a way to win this game, maybe pretty close. But yeah, it'll be a game that I probably won't be watching at all. I'll follow if I make a bet on it or something. But yeah, I think the Bears win it.
If the Bears lose their bet, it's going to be interesting.
I mean, yeah. All right, next game. Another pair of 0-1 teams. Division game, Colts at Texans. The Colts are favored by -1.5.
Yeah, I like what I saw from Anthony Richardson and the Colts enough. So I mean, there's not much analysis to it. I think Richardson will play well and has a little bit more help. It looks like. So I'll take the Colts.
Yeah, I'll take Colts as well. We'll just have to see if Richardson is fully healthy. I know he has that knee issue, and
He'll
they
be
kind of
fine.
downplayed it, but I think he'll be fine.
Yeah.
Next game, 49ers at Rams. Both teams are 1-0, and the 49ers are favored by 8.5.
The line's a lot. The line's a lot. 8.5's a lot. Rams look good. I don't know about Niners covering, but Stafford would have to play insane. He'd have to play even better than he did against Seattle. So I'll take Niners. The Rams offensive line. I mean, I still don't think they're great. So Niners defensive line should give them troubles. But I think they should cover. But I'll take Niners to win.
I think Niners cover pretty easily. I think they win by 14 to 15 points. I think
you said that about
I don't know if Rams
last week.
Yeah, okay, but this is also 49ers. They beat Pittsburgh by 23 on the road. Why can't they cover 8.5?
This is division. That's why. Division game.
Kyle Shanahan has Sean McVay's number. So I think 49ers cover this pretty easily.
Give me the Rams.
I don't think Rams are going to cover or be able to contain that offense.
We'll see.
Next game, probably one team is tanking, one team needs to win this game, or you put the panic button on. Giants at Cardinals. Giants favored by 5.5, and I think 5.5 is great value.
As the resident Daniel Jones homer, they're gonna slaughter them. They are going to slaughter them. I don't know what the score will be, but they will cover. It'll be a slaughter fest. That was terrible. That was just terrible. That's one of the worst first quarters. After you go all the way down there, and then Andrew Thomas false start, and then snap, block field goal. It was just terrible. They're going to slaughter them. Damn, Brian Dable's going to come ready. They're going to take them to the woodshed. It's Giants by a lot.
I'll say Giants. But I think if they only win by 6 or 7 points, that's still pretty worrisome. So I think they have to send a message, and they have to win big.
Yeah,
but I'll take Giants.
Yeah.
Next game, Jets at Cowboys. Cowboys favored by 9.
9? Just written 9? Okay.
It was at 9.5 yesterday.
No, that's too much for this defense. I know Josh Allen has mistakes, but we saw what it did against Josh Allen, and I think Zach Wilson's going to be more prepared. So taking Cowboys, but Jets that's stupid. I guess it's not stupid. I don't know. I'd put it like 6.5, maybe. But 9's a lot.
I think Cowboys win. The only reason I don't think they cover this is because Dak Prescott is just he's not a good he's a good quarterback. He's a solid quarterback, but I don't think he's one of these top tier guys or like a top 14 guy.
He's mistake prone.
Exactly. That's the main. If he was just like he was 2 years ago, I think they cover this. But I think the Cowboys win this. Not sure they cover though.
Mm-hmm.
Next game, Washington at Denver. Washington 1-0, Denver 0-1. Denver minus 3.5.
I'm going Denver. I saw some good things from the Broncos. Washington.
Jerry Jeudy's back this week too.
If Jerry Jeudy's back, that's huge because you're throwing to little Jordan Humphrey. But I like Denver. I think they did enough. Because Washington, I mean, they struggled against Cardinals. They came out with the win, but it was a struggle. I think Sean McPayton's not going to lose. I think home field does help. So I'm taking Denver. It's going to be one of those, I don't know. I think it's going to be one of those where Denver's probably just up the whole time by enough.
Mm-hmm.
Take Denver.
Yeah, I think Denver has more urgency to win this game. Mm-hmm. And Washington, I was not impressed with at all last week against Arizona. Arizona didn't score a single offensive touchdown and only lost by 4. And the Commanders needed 10 points to win the game in the fourth quarter. So I'll take Denver to win this one, and I think they cover pretty easily as well. I think defense takes control of this game. Sunday night game. We talked about these two teams earlier, and a topic that was very interesting. Dolphins at Patriots. Dolphins favored by 3.
This I can get 50-50 when I'm 50-50 on the Patriots, especially with the 0-1 team. I'm going Patriots in just a close game. I mean, I think he's finally going to beat Tua. It's finally going to happen. You don't beat Bill Belichick 5 times in a row. I refuse to believe it. I think the Patriots get this one. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, but I don't think the Dolphins defense is able to lock a team down. I think Mac will just make a couple plays here and there, a couple nice throws. It'll be like 24-23. So I mean, I think it'll be close, but give me Patriots. Give me Patriots.
I think Dolphins win it.
It's also more fun if the Patriots win. I think it's more fun. It's more fun.
Well, I have a bet now Dolphins winning the division, so I think it'd be more fun if they won. And I do think they actually do win this game. It's not for my bet. I think they do win this game. I just don't know. I think Patriots will have a game plan for Tyreek Hill, but if you're going to double Tyreek Hill, now you're leaving Waddle on one-on-one coverage. So it's kind of a game where you have to take one or the other. One of them will blow up. One will be a distraction for the defense. I think Dolphins win this, and I don't think the Patriots can keep up, even though their defense may play really well.
Real quickly, I think the key will be Dolphins won't run well, and that Patriots.
See, that's the thing. They need to run the ball more, and maybe they saw
I don't think they
if they get Jonathan Taylor. If they get Jonathan
most
Taylor,
are hurt too right now. Most are hurt right now.
We'll see. Monday night, we have 2 Monday night games this week. Both division games. I would say one's intriguing. The first one is Saints at Panthers. Saints 1-0, Panthers 0-1. Saints favored by 3.
No, my meeting goes to like 7:15, 7:30 every Monday, so I won't see the start of it, and I'm completely fine with that.
You're lucky.
I'm fine with that. I'm not gonna I don't have to be like, oh, just turn it on, Luke. You turn it on. Give me Saints. I mean, unless Bryce Young really. I mean, he doesn't.
They still have the personnel. They don't have the offensive line.
DJ Shark plays and helps him out, but I forgot what the extent of his injury was, but taking Saints. Yeah. They have the weapons.
I think short, simple.
No JC Horn, so
yeah. I think Chris Olave. I think is going to go off in this game. I think Saints win.
Mm-hmm.
Last game of the week, Browns and Steelers. Browns favored by 2.5, and the Browns are 1-0 while the Steelers are 0-1.
I didn't like enough of what I saw from Deshaun Watson. He didn't look that good to me. I think it was more of a team. And I mean, at this point, I don't even consider Bengals Week 1 stuff anymore. I just don't even consider it. I don't consider it. So I'm taking Steelers. Pickett should bounce back. I think that T.J. Watt should have a big game. Big T.J. Watt game. Close game. I mean, 38.5 is the over-under. That is low. That's low. That's low.
Lower it's the lowest over-under of the week. It's lower than Panthers Saints too. So
is it really? I'm looking. Yeah, I think it is 38.5 on MGM. But so yeah, I'll take Steelers in a close one.
Yeah, I'll take Steelers too. I don't see him losing 2 games. And Mike Tomlin's gonna have his team ready after embarrassing Week 1. And I think Deshaun Watson. I don't think he's a good quarterback at this point in his career after missing 2 years. So
yeah, it's a weird situation.
I think Steelers win. I think in a comfortable environment at home. We'll have to see how big the loss of Deontay Johnson plays in this game.
That's true.
But I think George Pickens will step up, and I think they'll utilize that run game more against the Browns.
Mm-hmm. Probably more Jalen Warren, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that will do it for our episode this week. Next week we will do Panic Meter and then Week 3 predictions. Make sure to hit the subscribe button and like this video. Peace.